Hey y'all, you're tuned in to Back Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. I'm Roger, and I sure am happy to have y'all here with us today. Today we're going to be doing a classic Depression era recipe for you, and it's called SOS. Now it's got a lot of other names. One of them I can't say on camera, but a lot of you out there, especially if you've been in the military, you're going to know what SOS stands for.
Yeah. Porch boards sway in a slow rhythm. Got the screen door sighing a low hum. That old wood stove is cooking something good. Smell of bacon filling up the neighborhood.
So, some of the other names that it has been known by over the years that I can say on camera is Save Our Souls, Beef on a Shingle, Chip Beef and Gravy, Cream Chip Beef, which is what it was always called in my family, except by my dad, and he had been in the army, so you know what he called it. Now, to make it, it takes 5 simple ingredients, and it's not really all that expensive. The beef that you use for it is the most expensive part. Everything else you probably pretty much got in your pantry, so you're not going to have to go out and buy something else. But it's very good. It's filling, and it will serve 4 people if you put it over toast or over biscuits. All right, so we're going to get to making this SOS here and show you how it's done. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slice up our beef. And now this is the Armor dried beef. Now this stuff is super, super salty. So we're not going to put any extra salt into this. We're just going to use what salt is on this meat. So as I said, first thing we're going to do is this comes kind of folded up when you take it out of the jar. So we're just going to slice it, and you can slice it however you want to, but we have always sliced it just in kind of thin slices, just like this. Just be careful and don't cut your finger off. Now you can leave it in long strands if you want to, or you can turn it and kind of bunch it up together and then just give it a big chop just to kind of cut the strands down a little bit so they're not quite as big. And that's usually about how we do ours, is just like that. All right, so that's the first thing you got to do. We got our meat cut up and we've added 4 tablespoons of butter to our pan over here. And we're letting our butter melt. And as soon as that butter is melted, we'll add the beef into the pan. So our butter has melted in our pan, and now we're just going to add our meat to it. And we're going to let that cook for probably about 3 minutes or so, and just to kind of get everything sauteed in here and let the meat get hot in the butter. And then we're going to add our black pepper and our flour to it. So our meat's been cooking for about 2 minutes now, and now we're going to add our 4 tablespoons of flour to this. And then we're going to add in a half of a teaspoon of black pepper. Now you can do more black pepper if you want, or you can do less, but again, don't add salt to it because that's not going to be something that you're going to need. And while that meat was cooking, I did stir it around in the pan. And so now we're just going to incorporate this flour and black pepper. And we don't want to brown this because we want our sauce to be a white consistency. But You do want to let this flour cook out for about 3 minutes, just so that it can get rid of the flour taste. So just stir it around. I've got it on about a 4 on the temperature, so that's not real hot. But like I say, we just want to let that cook for about 3 minutes, and then we're going to add our milk to it. Our mixture has been cooking for about 3 minutes, and we're ready to add 2 cups of milk to that. And then we're just going to stir that around. And as that milk heats up, we'll start to get some thickening in it. And I turned our heat down to about a 3 there because 4 was a little bit too warm. And so we turned it down, and we're just going to let this simmer until it thickens up. So while we're waiting on our cream chip beef to thicken and our toast to get done, I'm going to give you a little bit of a history on SOS or cream chip beef. So, whether you call it SOS or cream chip beef on toast, this is one of the ultimate survival recipes of American history. It's a master class in stretch your dollar cooking that sustained generations through world wars and the Great Depression. If you've ever seen it written as cream tube beef, that's just a classic case of an old handwritten recipe or military index card getting smudged and mistranslated over the years from cream beef. I had never heard it called that before, but that's what the history says. This dish actually started long before the military got a hold of it. It traces back to the Pennsylvania Dutch, who would cure beef in heavy salt brine and air dry it so it was completely shelf stable without refrigeration. Because the meat was tough and incredibly salty, can vouch for that. Cooks would shave it paper thin, frizzle it in a skillet, and smother it in a simple rich milk gravy to stretch a tiny bit of meat into a massive hearty meal. Now, the U.S. Army officially adopted the cream chip beef or SOS in 1910, and it was in the Manual for Army Cooks. The military loved it because dried beef was lightweight, didn't spoil, and kept hungry soldiers energized. But it was during World War II that it earned its legendary colorful name from GIs, SOS. Now, as I say, I can't say that on camera, but most of you probably know what it means. So the first S was the thick cream beef, and the last S, the shingle, was a piece of toasted military white bread that it was poured over. And when dried chip beef got scarce overseas, mess halls started swapping it out for a brown ground beef or a canned corned beef, but the name stuck. When troops returned home, nostalgia won out over bad military memories. SOS became a beloved budget stretcher in family kitchens and a permanent fixture at classic American diner counters. It's proof that with a little resourcefulness, you can turn a basic survival ration into pure comfort food. So, like I say, just a little history on where SOS cream chip beef came from. All right, guys, so our gravy should just about be thickened by now. So our cream chip beef is ready. And we got some toast that we made while we were waiting on this to get done. And so now all we got to do is make a plate. So here's our plate. I made me some scrambled eggs and put me a little bit of that cream chip beef over the scrambled eggs. Got us some of it on the toast. So it's time to give it a try and see how it is. So I got me a bite of the toast with a cream chip beef and gravy, and we're going to give it a try. So, guys, I also tried it on the eggs too. It's great over the eggs, over the toast. It's awesome. And I'll tell you, back years ago when I was young, I always enjoyed that frozen cream chip beef that you got at the grocery store. Thought it was really good. Matter of fact, my mom always kept a package of that in the freezer, so if I wanted it, I could have it. I tell you, this is much better than the frozen. Now, the frozen was good. This is better. So, guys, y'all need to try this. If you've never had it, or if you've never actually made it yourself, you've only eat it out of the frozen, y'all need to try this. It's simple, it's quick, it's easy. As I said, the most expensive thing that you're using is the dried Armor dried beef. Um, don't really remember what the price was on it, but I know it is a little on the pricey side. But y'all make this for your family, share it with your friends, share this recipe with your friends, and remember, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below. Tell us what your experience has been in the past with cream chip beef or SOS. And guys, click on that bell button too. That way you're going to get notifications anytime we put up a new video or if we leave a comment in the community tab. So appreciate y'all watching. Hope you'll make this. I think you'll enjoy it. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you soon.